too. I like games too.
Everybody sing pre-show music. This is the pre-show music. Pre-show music playing strong. Pre-show music playing long. This is the pre-show music, so you can relax and have a good time while you wait for pictures to appear. Pre-show, pre-show, pre-show. Oh, I skipped that line again. Crap, I did the same thing the last live stream. Pre-show music, it's the best thing in the world. Pre-show music, tell me what rhymes with world. Pre-show, pre-show, pre-show music here. Hey! Alright, let's turn this crap off. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming out. Yeah, curdled almost rhymes with... Curdled rhymes with wordled. So that's really close. That's really close. That started... because like 2 streams ago, I just was randomly messing around. Like somebody said, like I had the slide up, and that just said Christian Geek Central, and maybe like stream is starting soon or something like that. And I had my microphone on, and I was kind of getting some stuff done. I was clacking at keys, and somebody in the chat said, I can hear him typing, you know. And so I just kind of randomly started making up this pre-show music song, and it was much more halting as I was making it up the first time through. But then I decided, you know what, that is so stupid, I think I'm going to make it a thing. So I sang it beginning of last live stream, sang it at the beginning of this live stream. I don't think it's going to go away. I am going to go through and play in roughly chronological order, I guess what I would kind of call my all-time favorite video games, and that's always a really hard list to try and define, because what does that mean? Does that mean like currently these are like my favorite games to play? No. Or do they still hold up? Maybe some of them do, maybe some of them don't. But I would say every game that I'm going to play and every game that's on my list, because I'll share the whole list as it currently exists with you as I'm going through the night. I'm only going to play some of them because it's a beefy list. But I would say every game that I'm going to play tonight or mention tonight, I either just really super enjoyed it when I played it, whenever in my stage of life was that I played it, or it just had a major positive impact on me in some way. Maybe it didn't necessarily at the time, kind of blow me away, but I didn't realize until later maybe some doors that it opened to other types of video games that I've, learned to love since playing that first game or whatever. So that's, but you try to put all of that in like a neat, concise title on YouTube, and no one's going to come and watch that. So you say all-time favorite games, and people can think what they want, and then you try to explain it. At least that's what I'm doing. Lots of reasons that I look forward to live streams. They always make me a little bit nervy, because you never know how the internet's going to treat you. But I'm grateful that we've just got a fantastic community at Christian Geek Central, and so I appreciate you guys coming out and saying hi and watching me blah, 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 blah. I don't get, honestly, the whole Let's Play phenomenon, let's watch other people play video games. I don't do that myself, but I know people like it, and so that's why I do it now and then, just in case any of you guys want to tune in and watch me play games and blah, 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 blah. It'll be easier for me to answer questions that are just kind of substanceless because I'm terrible at multitasking. So I do like getting into, deep thoughtful topics. That's one of the reasons why I put some of the YouTube videos up that I do on the YouTube channel. But that's, I do that having really thought about that in advance and really try to choose my words carefully. And the more deep and I think worthwhile a topic is, the more I really like to choose my words carefully and choose my thoughts carefully. So for that reason, you can absolutely throw a topic on the table, but it might be one that I say, you know what, can you email me about that? I wouldn't trust myself to give you a really thoughtful response right now. Or I might recommend a resource or a place that you could go to kind of get some thinking on whatever the topic is. Francisco Ruiz says, is there time in eternity? I think there is.
And the reason I would say that is because if you look at the book of Revelation, and there are verbs being used, if I remember correctly, don't quote me on this, but I think if you look at like when it says the new heaven and the new earth begin, there's still verbs being used to describe things going on. So there's still a progression of one event to the next. So there's still this sense of linear. Whether or not we will have access to multiple time dimensions and stuff, that's still a question that's I'm totally open to. For more on that, I recommend Hugh Ross's book Beyond the Cosmos. I recommend that a lot. But anyway, really thought-provoking stuff in that book. Can anybody guess what this game is? Not just seeing this little pause and like menu thing going on. Called Dragon Quest, of course, in Japan. I don't know why they changed it to Dragon Warrior. Maybe they thought us in America are more aggressive meatheads. We weren't interested in quests. We want to be warriors. When we first got the NES, my dad bought a bunch of like used games at some place in a mall somewhere, and he brought this one home. And he brought this one home more for himself. And at the time, I was like in, I want to say, late elementary school maybe, and it seemed all complicated and lots of like reading and stuff going on. I was like, I don't know. But Dad was really into it. He played this game with a notebook. And he took like notes of all the quests and trying to figure out where he needed to go and stuff like that, and he was really hardcore into it. And then he like never really played any video games after that. It wasn't until a few years later that I gave it a try. I think it was in junior high, and I was like, this is awesome, because I was suddenly discovering this type of game that I could succeed in that didn't require any hand-eye coordination, because my reflexes and I'm not a fast thinker. I'm a slow, deliberate thinker. I'm not a fast decision maker. And so all these twitchy games, you're like, go, I can't, too much pressure. So turn-based combat, man. Oh, yeah. I actually replayed this game maybe 4 years ago or so. I can't remember how long ago. It's just like a handful of years, something like that, when I rebought an NES. Because for a long time I didn't have an NES, but I just bought one a number of years ago, and I got this game, and I wanted to see if it held up. This game, I can't honestly remember if it was this game or Final Fantasy that I played first. I think it was this one, but those two games combined really introduced me to video game RPGs. All our hopes are riding on thee. Before reaching thy next level of experience, thou must gain 495 points. I think this is the last save before I made the journey to the castle to beat the game, because I did finish the game last time I played it, and this is my last save game on here, so I'm actually going to see how far I can get to finishing the game here on this save. Rainbow Drop. What the crap does the Rainbow Drop do? Dragon Scale. I don't remember what any of this stuff does. One thing that's really interesting about this series, it stayed the same so much through the whole series. The enemy designs stayed basically the same. The music, they used basically the same, like this overworld theme. I was just playing Dragon Quest Builders earlier this afternoon, and it's the same music. It's reorchestrated, and they even, when you're in different parts of the world in Dragon Quest Builders, they'll modify the arrangement of the overworld theme, but it's still the same melody, no matter, where you're going, pretty much. See, these Druin, these same creature designs are all in, I mean, they're 3D and obviously much smoother, but I mean, they're not even, like, super detailed. It's still a very cartoony look if you look at any of the Dragon Quest games that came after this one, and even the modern ones, and like 11 that just came out in Japan and is coming to the States. Francisco Ruiz says, Pater, pop in a Game Genie. Yeah, I wish. That was my modus operandi throughout most console generations, until they stopped making cheat devices. They don't make cheat devices for like 360 and PS3 onward. I couldn't find any. Otherwise, I would be playing more action-based games. I enjoyed playing a good number of action-based games when I had cheat codes for them. Oh! I don't remember how to get around this castle at all. I think I beat the game on this save the last time I played, which would have been a handful of years ago after I repurchased it. And I really do feel like this game, at least for that run through, held up for me. And the reason it's such kind of like an impactful game for me is because of the first time I played it, the original Final Fantasy just kind of opened me up to discovering this world of video game RPGs, So suddenly I'd found a genre of games that, like, my crappy hand-eye coordination skills were not sabotaging. I could actually play this game, and it involved thinking and deliberating, especially, in the turn-based days. You could really think about, okay, how do I want to approach this and stuff, and I tend to be a slow and deliberate thinker. So, man, after that, I was just playing nothing but JRPGs for years after that. So, this was a big deal for that. And also coming back to it, the gameplay held up for me, and I just discovered, I was reminded again how much I enjoyed it. And between this game and having played Final Fantasy VIII, not too many years prior to replaying this one, I saw just how the formula of Dragon Quest turn-based combat, it still works for me. And so then I went back and I ended up eventually buying a DS and getting caught up on all of those Dragon Quest games that I'd missed over the years that were being either ported or released for the first time on Nintendo DS. And so I'm probably going to end up not finishing 6. That's what I'm on right now. Because there's just some stuff about it I don't like that's a departure from the formula, getting too complicated into like multiple worlds and job systems and stuff like that. And but I really do enjoy this formula a lot. I haven't played 7. It was just too expensive by the time I get around to it. It was a PlayStation 1 game that didn't get as big of a release in the US, as is the case with many of these games. Some of them, in fact, didn't get released. I don't think 6 was released for a long time, and then they released 7 on PlayStation 1, but that was like late in the PlayStation 1 life cycle, and I don't have the system that I think it was remade for 3DS, and I don't have a 3DS, I just have a DS. But I do definitely plan on playing Dragon Quest XI. Oof. I think 10 was the one that was exclusively like, it's an MMO. So 9 I still plan on playing at some point, and it came out exclusively on DS, which was a really kind of, I think I remember it being a controversial move. At least it ticked me off at the time. I was like, what? I gotta buy a whole new, some dumb handheld console? Rawr. Courage and wit have served thee well. Thou hast been promoted to the next level. Thy power increases by 2. Thy response speed increases by 2. Thy maximum hit points increase by 14. Thy maximum magic points increase by 6. Thou hast learned a new spell. Ha ha! What? Oh, this is the wrong stairway altogether. I really hate losing games, so I'm tempted to like go back to the town and heal up now that I've gained levels, but I don't want to spend all that much time on this game. And I'm sure there's videos out there you can watch if you want to see the end of this game. I don't think I'm going to give that to you. Are you going to try to get the SNES Classic? No. The main reason being, all the games I would want to play on there, except for maybe, I think, did they put Earthbound on there? I can't remember. If they put Earthbound on there, that's the only game, I think, in that collection that I would want to play that I don't already own. And we may end up getting, if that's the case, we may end up getting a Wii U for our boys at some point in the next year, maybe as early as Christmas. And I think I can get it pretty cheap through their digital store. As long as Nintendo just doesn't suddenly decide, wait a minute, these digital games are making customers way too happy with us. we should get rid of that. They are a befuddling company, aren't they? Master Zemna says, you called it. They said they ran out of digital copies of Earthbound. You're messing with me, right? You have to be messing with me. Even Nintendo, I would find that... And yet I believe that somehow it's within the realm of possibilities. Yeah, there's just something, I mean, it's the gameplay's really simple, but I like the choice of like, okay, how do I need to conserve my MP right now? When that's really a significant choice. Especially like early on, it's like, okay, well, how much more is it worth it for me to go back to town and pay to sleep at the inn based on the income I'm getting in gold from the monsters that I'm defeating? Is it worth it yet to go and heal? Or should I push myself a little longer and hold off on paying for that you know, that room at the inn. You know, some of those basic choices of these early JRPGs, especially in the Dragon Quest series, you know, I like that. It's simple, but there's still, you know, some thinking and choices you have to make. Ah! Ooh, one more time. We can do it. Come on, we got this. Yes! So, Eclectic 1995, I'm trying to get a grip on this question. He says, if a priest prays to God to send an angel to aid them, does this, in video game terms, call them a summoner? I don't know if that... I mean, I guess maybe that would be the closest comparison, but because God would need to respond to that, and it's God's authority. It's not like in summoning where it's like seems to be purely based on either the relationship that the summoner has to the monster, you know, or sometimes they just have direct command and they just summon them. There's no intermediary or other authority that has to get factored in. But that's probably, I don't know, closest, I guess. I don't know where I am. Hurt more. 28, dang, that does hurt more. Am I going backwards now? Oh, crap. I'm not even gonna find the Dragon Lord, dang it. Oh, I think I've been here before. Yes, dang it. My memory is terrible. So, I think I'm just gonna keep going in circles for your enjoyment. I think there was some stairs. I've been here. The thing that does suck about random encounters is when you're trying to solve like a puzzle dungeon, I lose track of my train of thought from when I was like considering what route I was going to go down, keeping track of where I've been and stuff like that. Just having that map in my head. I'm not a strong visual thinker. I process information much more auditorily. What I hear is what I tend to learn and latch onto, not what I see. So being interrupted all the time with this combat does make navigating a dungeon, you know, that's set up like a maze difficult for me. There I go! Ugh. Man. Hate that sound. Thou art dead. Yeah, okay. Thanks. I kind of picked that up from the context clues of 0 hit points. I know, death should not have taken me. Now go, Merrick! Alright, I'm done with this one. I'm sure there's a video on YouTube you can watch of the end of the game if you really want to get closure.